So just to put this in perspective, for every 1 pound of weight you gain, your body has to produce 1 more mile of blood vessel. Now think about that.
For 1 pound?
For 1 pound. Each pound is 1 mile of vessel.
I have the road from here to New York in my body.
These are the things that allow you to go to a drive-up window and get a cheap hamburger, but go into a health food store and see produce that you think is expensive because it's the right produce.
I understand that the two of you don't blend very well in real life in the kitchen.
No. Not at all.
Okay.
Why not?
He breaks everything. He drops everything.
Too much testosterone.
And I just spend my life cleaning up behind him and getting annoyed. So this will be a challenge.
Are you saying it's best that the man stay out of the kitchen?
In my household, it is best.
This will make a pumpkin pie that has more than you need in your minimum daily requirement for vitamin A, probably double, and several times what you need as a minimum daily requirement for magnesium. It's also loaded with something called lutein. Lutein has been shown to reduce the risk of prostate cancer in cancer cells by as much as 60%.
That looks great.
Kelly has really created the ultimate antioxidant pumpkin pie.
One that's actually healthy, which I love. It's actually good for you.
Welcome back, everyone. You know, there is a lot of misinformation out there about food. So says our next guest, Randy Karp, who just wrote a new book. Congratulations. Misinformed About Food.
Celery, milk, and garbanzo beans. They're loaded with galactose. Galactose is a sugar. What happens with sugar over time, we get a chemical reaction as we age. Sugar molecules fold into a protein or a fat molecule, and they actually form gunk in our brain and elsewhere called glycation. Today, I want to convince you why it's so important to step up to the plate and get the best quality sources of protein available, even though we don't need that much, about 55 or 60 grams for the average adult. So government ought to be using its leverage, and in my opinion, we shouldn't be spending 1 dime and giving anyone, unless they're indigent, any money for Medicare, unless their vitamin D levels and their vitamin C levels can be shown to be where they belong. Take a look at a food label. You know, drug manufacturers have to state, you know, as you and I have talked about before, you see these lovely commercials where you can be dancing in the rain but your head falls off, and they got to tell you this stuff. But food companies, they're not required to do that. They don't have to tell you if a food is GMO. They don't have to tell you what the possible interactions are from the foods. They don't even have to tell you how it's produced, how it's manufactured. And as we talked about excitotoxins, which Russell Blaylock talks about a lot now, now we have all these names like natural flavorings. And if a food's natural, it doesn't need flavoring. So we have all these names now that end up boiling down to the same stuff in your brain. The government is subsidizing obesity. The government is basically saying we're going to, since World War II, we're going to give a disproportionate share of our food subsidies to junk food. Is there toxic waste in your toothpaste? Well, more often than not, you're going to find that there is.
The importance of reducing the fat in our diet, lowering our total cholesterol level, adding more calcium to our diet to build up that bone mass. But Randy Karp, the author of the soon-to-be-released book, Misinformed About Food, could not disagree more.
What we've done is we've put too many of the unstable polyunsaturated fats in our diet and not enough of the more healthful monounsaturated fats, so we get internal inflammation. We have cell membranes that are unstable, and it ages us. So one of the things you didn't know about anti-aging was why you need to get fat. What's the easy way for 2,775 calories that most of us typically eat to get down to about 1,500 and still feel full?
Right.
The answer is healthy substitutes that are easy to make. Here's an example. This is a product called Just Like Sugar that we're very excited about because it's the only FDA-approved sugar substitute that is made with chicory root inulin. It's all natural, and it's actually good to eat. The more you eat, the healthier you get. Well, we're going to talk about nuts, and just very briefly, it's one of the best things you can do. And one of the studies in the book outlines what's happened to people that have 4 handfuls of nuts or more a week. They actually cut down the risk of heart disease by 50%.
Wow, I have cut mine 100% then.
Well, good for you. In fact, you may have cut them more than that just this morning, because this was all the way so slow.
This was cool, man.
Thank you.